Another weekend of EFL action where it was top versus bottom in the Championship. Leaders Burnley hosted Wigan and were confident of extending their unbeaten run to 17 games in League and Cup. Middlesbrough also have terrific winning momentum right now. They made the trip to Swansea, hoping to close the gap on Sheffield United in the automatic promotion places. And it's at Bramall Lane where we begin. The Blades in second hosted fifth place Luton, another of the sides who could still pip them to automatic promotion. Luton's record on the road this season is excellent. Only Burnley's is better. And here come the Hatters again with Alan Campbell. Peli Radakmpanzu brought down by Jayden Bogle, cynically so. And referee Lee Doughty wants a word. It's yellow for Bogle, whose trip was deliberate and seems to have done some damage too. And Panzu in real distress. Rob Edwards could be forced into an early change. He can barely walk, and Panzu. Luke Berry will replace the Luton man. Here's Campbell. Luton on the front foot in this second half, which is already better than the first. Adebayo going at Egan. Campbell rather got in the way. Here's Adebayo again. Oh, that's nicely done. And it's turned in at the near post by Carlton Morris. Luton lead at Bramall Lane. Morris with the goal. But it was Elijah Adebayo's skill that has opened up this very tight, very scrappy game. Look at the nutmeg here on John Fleck. See you later. The delivery is perfect too for Morris. Real striker's goal that. Right place, right time. 1-0 Luton. Tom Doyle to deliver. Action in both boxes all of a sudden. Horvath couldn't collect it. Luton have not won this yet. Doyle tries again, deeper this time. Here's John Egan. Can he finish it? Not quite. Goal kick, the final outcome. We've waited all game for some penalty area drama, and it's all coming at the end here. Berger. Time almost up for the Blades. Here's McAtee, it's got to go in. It does towards McBurney. And with that, surely the Blades are condemned to defeat. A fourth in 6 league games, not promotion form. Luton have absorbed all the pressure, and when the chances finally came, the Blades couldn't take them. That's it. Luton victorious on the road once again, and this is the biggest result yet. A huge boost to their promotion hopes, very damaging to Sheffield United's. Luton win at Bramall Lane by 1-0. Hats off to Rob Edwards, who's got Luton on a hell of a run.
Borough boss Michael Carrick had been linked with West Ham this week should David Moyes lose his job. Carrick laughed off those rumours. His goal is the Premier League, but with Middlesbrough just 15 minutes gone in South Wales when Joel Pirro put the hosts in front and temporarily stalled those ambitions. Plenty to ponder in the early stages, but Carrick's side do have goals in them, 19 in their last 7 in fact. But it was Swansea looking to add to their lead just after the break. Pirro, full of confidence, went for the spectacular. His effort spilled into the path of Jay Fulton, who immediately spotted the assistant's flag, a let-off for Borough. And just 2 minutes later, the visitors managed to draw level. Russell Martin likely furious with his defence, looking for a flag that would never come, and then failing to dispossess Aaron Ramsey. The Villa loanee scored twice in the 5-0 rout of Reading last week. At just 20 years old, he has a growing reputation, Borough had scored more goals on the road than any other side in the Championship. It seemed highly unlikely they'd be done after drawing level, and duly took the lead just 4 minutes later. And it was a man who loves scoring away from home. Cameron Archer with his 4th of the season. He's yet to score at the Riverside. Not that he or the celebrating Borough faithful cared about that. Match turned around, Swansea shaking, and Borough sensing another big win on their travels. The only thing missing from this performance for the away side was a Chuba Akpom goal. The Championship's top scorer was gifted the opportunity to add his name to the score sheet when Riley McGree was brought down by Joel Latiboudiere. Akpom had missed 2 of his 4 spot kicks so far this season, but made no mistake this time. Another win for Borough, and their manager will continue to be a wanted man.
There may have been a chill in the air, but Burnley are enjoying life at the summit right now. They came into this one having lost just once in their last 32 league games. And the home side could have taken the lead in the 12th minute when Anas Sarori's shot smacked the upright. The Moroccan's first-time effort, probably covered by Wigan keeper Ben Amos. NFL legend JJ Watt was in attendance as he considers investing in Burnley. And before the quarter-hour mark, he had something to cheer. Nathan Teller connecting with Zarori's cross to open the scoring. This his first goal since a hat-trick against Preston 7 games ago. This fixture was top against bottom, and what was always going to be a tough test for the visitors got that bit harder in the 27th minute. Omar Rekik had already been booked when he lunged in on Teller. They were already a goal down, now a man down, a long hour ahead. Sean Maloney's Latics were without a win in 12 away league matches, but were almost gifted an equaliser in first half stoppage time. Halmar Ekdal's underhit back pass gave Ashley Fletcher ample time to decide what to do with it. He was denied by Ariana Muric. With wages unpaid this week, Wigan's players and coaching staff were determined not to be distracted from the task in hand. But 2 minutes into the second half, that task was almost insurmountable. The head of Teller once again doing the damage. By now the race was run as Burnley began to play with freedom, and with 15 minutes to go the result was beyond doubt. Michael Obafemi knocked the ball back to Lyle Foster, the substitute firing home his first goal for the club. Burnley now unbeaten in 16, the result completing a difficult week for Wigan.
Watford seem to have a revolving door policy on managers. Chris Wilder is their latest, having taken over from Slaven Bilic this week. Wilder's reign began at QPR, who are still getting used to new boss Gareth Ainsworth. Commentary comes from Jack Woodward.
The incoming Watford boss talked about getting out of the traps quickly pre-match. Nothing much from them so far. Tim Irobenham tries to guide it through for Lowe. He'll get it back here. Irobenham past Chowdhury, and it's in! 1-0 QPR. Tim, the teenage talent, thriving under the new head coach. The Villa Loney scored the first goal of the Ainsworth tenure, and he's at it again. Dickey, quick feet there. Fine ball as well. Dykes, great to see him back in action, having made that peeling run. Kakai assesses the situation. Brilliant work from Kakai. The finish didn't match his initial play. Very tricky, very clever, curled it straight at the keeper. Gaspar's throw. Loser for Ismaila Sarr. Sarr in a good area. Just drove that with too much power. And his frustration tells a story. He manoeuvred the ball nicely. Disappointment for Wilder and his team there. Throw in from Sama. João Pedro. Pedro into the box. Goes down. Nothing from referee James Linnington. Heart in the mouth time for the gaffer. Did Amos get away with one? Seemed to be contacts. We sat for a frenzied finale. Martin flicking on, and here's the substitute, Sinclair Armstrong. Save with the legs of Backman. Gasper and Chowdhury mop up. Armstrong a bit wider than he would have liked. It's a decent strike, but a good save. Johansson for Martin. There's the final whistle. The away boss's opening game overshadowed by his opposite number. Wild scenes of celebration. A club that meant so much to Gareth Ainsworth as a player. Now they're his players, and they bagged him his first points at the helm. QPR 1, Watford 0.
Coming up, playoff hopefuls Millwall, who travelled to Reading still smarting from last weekend's 5-0 defeat to Middlesbrough.
With the threat of a 6-point deduction for breaching financial rules distracting them off the pitch, Reading were pursuing respite on it. But at home to a Millwall side keen to restore momentum for an end-of-season playoff push, it was the Lions who were given the chance to land the first blow. Goalkeeper Joe Lumley tangling with Zian Fleming, penalty given. On closer inspection, it was hard to argue. Andreas Vogelsammer's only previous goal this season came on Boxing Day. Given his chance from the spot, he must have thought next Christmas had come early. Millwall with the advantage, just 11 minutes gone. With 60% possession, but not a single shot on target, the Reading stats told their own story, though striker Andy Carroll was still heavily involved. Always a formidable aerial presence, an early tangle with Charlie Cresswell set the tone. Neither appeared willing to give too much ground. Before the break, Carroll left on the floor after another encounter with the Millwall man, nothing given. As Reading chased their first double over Millwall in 17 years, tensions remained high. Carroll and Cresswell tangled again. It wasn't for the faint-hearted, a bruising afternoon, for Paul Ince and co especially. Vogelsammer's cross came to nothing here, but Millwall held out and remain upwardly mobile. But with only 2 wins from 12 league games now, that sound you can hear is Reading alarm bells ringing.
You could have forgiven Hull's Oscar Estepinian for his disappointment at starting this one on the bench after his hat-trick in August's reverse fixture. But his first-half introduction for the injured Benjamin Tete was exactly what the Tigers needed to roar ahead against the run of play here. The Colombians' emphatic finish stunned their Sky Blues hosts, who had to now try to come from behind to win for the first time this season. Coventry were keen not to let this bump in the road disrupt their impressive recent form of being unbeaten in their last 6. Callum Doyle's drive took a slight deflection to deny him a swift leveller. Hull are set for a steady end to the campaign, with them too far adrift from either end of the league, but they'll be frustrated they couldn't capitalise on this chance to double their advantage, with Crystal Palace loanee Malcolm Ebiowe fluffing his lines to miss out on just a second senior goal. And the visitors were made to pay just minutes later. The instrumental Victor Gyökeres key to the move that salvaged City in typical fashion. He celebrated extending his contract at the club in the week by teasing the Tigers' defence and teeing up Matt Godden to equalise. His 5th of the season and a 3rd against this opposition after a brace on Humberside in the previous meeting. So both of August's goal-getters on target once again here, and Godden was the one who ought to have been at the double again late on. The skipper blazing this one over as he and his side could only convert one of their 25 shots in all, a stutter in their assault on the top 6.
Neil Warnock did his best to fire things up ahead of this one, claiming former Terriers boss Carlos Corberán must have a great agent to get the West Brom job. Maybe the new Huddersfield gaffer should see if he's looking for new clients, because his side looked destined for the drop. They hadn't scored in their last 3 matches, and even when carving out a rare chance, Tom Lees couldn't find the target. Warnock's side held out for almost half an hour before hitting the self-destruct button. West Brom's form has been patchy, but at the Hawthorns they were unbeaten in 9 league matches. Gifting a club that rarely concedes a home goal a penalty pretty much ended any hopes of Huddersfield stopping the rot. Matty Pearson's clumsy lunge on Connor Townsend had the referee pointing to the spot. Townkeeper Tomasz Vaclik was Corberan's #1 at Olympiacos earlier this season. The Spaniard had John Swift well informed because the Baggies man sent the check the wrong way. Huddersfield are closing in on 7 hours without a goal. Confidence looks shot. David Kasumu's tame effort, the perfect example of their plight. These sides could be separated by 2 divisions next season.
Cardiff are showing signs of life under Sabri Lamouchi, having won 3 of their last 4 matches. And although the Welsh side are the Championship's lowest goal scorers, they almost took the lead at Preston when Keon Atete drilled his shot wide 6 minutes before half-time. Deepdale has not been the place to come this season if you want to see goals. 3 of North End's last 4 matches have been goalless, but they do still have an outside chance of a late surge for the playoffs. 7 minutes into first half stoppage time, the home side had their best chance of the half. Bambo Diaby just off target. The Bluebirds have won on their last 3 trips to Deepdale and thought they'd open the scoring in this one. Just after the hour mark, Sori Kaba seeing his effort saved in style by Freddie Woodman. The goalkeeper's strong left hand enough to keep the scores level. And just 5 minutes later, the importance of that save became apparent. The home side went up the other end, Tom Cannon showing good strength and composure to fire the home side ahead. Not just his second goal for the club, but his second goal in 4 matches. Now in their last match, Cardiff had goalkeeper Ryan Allsop sent off, so today handed an EFL debut to Jack Anick, and in stoppage time it became an afternoon to forget. Anick bringing down Cannon and receiving a straight red card. At best it was clumsy, at worst reckless. It meant 20-year-old goalkeeper Rohan Luthra came on for his senior debut. His second touch in the EFL was to pick out Ched Evans' close-range follow-up. Ryan Lowe's side now unbeaten in 6 league games. Cardiff still nervously looking over their shoulders.
After a challenging spell on and off the field, Birmingham were badly in need of a boost and hoped the visit of a potential relegation rival Rotherham would inspire them to step up to the plate at St Andrews. 5 minutes in, Rida Khadra emphatically did just that. Khadra's stunning strike, his 3rd goal in 7 appearances, just the start John Eustace and Birmingham were looking for. They'd lost 5 of their last 6 at home. Supporters have found it tough going. And their cause wasn't helped inside half an hour, when Christian Bielik was on the wrong end of Hakeem Adoffin's flying boot. A yellow card for the Rotherham player, an early and rather painful exit for his Birmingham counterpart. But he and the rest of the home camp were made to feel a whole lot better 10 minutes before half-time, as they took a big step forward after a disputed corner. Chidozie Ogbeni claimed he didn't get the final touch. But when served up with a chance to score his first goal of the season, Kevin Long made short work of it to double the lead. All very frustrating for a Rotherham side with plenty of possession but no end product. This first victory in 6 games not only lifts Birmingham's Blues, it takes them 10 points clear of the drop zone too.
Blackpool arrived in Bristol, boosted by their impressive shutout of the league leaders a week ago, and looked set to further frustrate a City side who hadn't scored in their last 2. Mark Sykes' wayward effort as close as they came despite their first half dominance, and it was the Tangerines who had the golden chance of the first period. Top scorer Jerry Yates, all out of sorts once again in front of goal, as his desperate drought extended to 18 league games. The visitors were to rue that miss after the break as the Robins began to turn the screw. Anis Mehmeti menaced his way past Jordan Gabriel, who may have been in trouble had Mehmeti gone down. Some rare respite for Mick McCarthy's men though, as signs of a second half onslaught had only just begun. Andreas Weimann's last goal came on bonfire night, but he made sure his 5th of the season was well worth the wait. A stunner from the skipper had the hosts in front just before the hour mark. The Austrian afforded too much room on the edge of the area as he punished the struggling Seasiders, who were once again feeling under the weather on their travels. Blackpool were now heading for a 6th straight away defeat, which was compounded 9 minutes from time by City starlet Alex Scott. A first league goal of the season for the highly sought-after 19-year-old. His future looks increasingly set for the heights of the Premier League, while well-beaten Blackpool, who also lost striker Gary Medine to injury early on, remained 6 points adrift in the battle for Championship safety.
Finally, to a Friday night thriller at the Bet365 Stadium. Stoke City, looking to continue their upturn in form, hosted promotion-chasing Blackburn Rovers. Commentary comes from Steve Wilson.
Stoke City probably going to be okay. Don't see them getting sucked into a relegation battle. Can they finish top half? Can Blackburn Rovers finish top two? Brent might be on here. It's worked really well to Smallbone, who's hit the bar. They're a bit ruffled, Blackburn. A little bit ruffled. A little bit anxious. Travers is going across to fill in at right back as Gale's cross comes in. Kiana Hammer! It's only the second goal of the young Dutchman's career, and he took it very calmly. It wasn't easy either. Stoke are all over Blackburn here. The half-time whistle cannot come soon enough for promotion-chasing Blackburn Rovers. It's a deep cross. Kiana Hammer! He's got a second! Extraordinary stuff! The defender who'd only ever scored one senior goal in his whole career before tonight has a double before half-time against Blackburn. His small sticks blocked. This was hit by small sticks. That came off Dwight Gale, whose arms were raised. Now, I'm not surprised that the Blackburn man was appealing vociferously for that. Josh Laurent here. Kept the ball in play brilliantly. Josh Laurent is still going. What a super run through Smallbone and into the net. Tyrese Campbell makes it 3-0. And this game is done and dusted. A well-deserved third goal for Stoke City. Bit of a sobering evening for Blackburn Rovers, dreaming of promotion in the Premier League. Here's Callum Britton. Lovely little dig cross, and they have a consolation off the head of Ben Brereton Diaz, who makes it 3-1. Blackburn Rovers score a consolation with their first effort on target in the game. Cross up to Gallagher, whose header's in! Goodness me, it's 3-2. It's a great header. Absolutely commanding header to get over Fox. And the points belong to Stoke City. It's back-to-back wins for Alex Neil, and deservedly so. Stoke City 3, Blackburn Rovers 2.
Here are those championship results in full. Burnley maintaining their course toward the Premier League. Rival Sheffield United, however, dropping points. And with Middlesbrough in such hot form, they could live to regret it. Luton's win at Bramall Lane lifts them into fourth place, just behind Borough. Michael Carrick's men have closed the gap on Sheffield United to 4 points. Burnley are now 13 clear at the top. It was another difficult day for the Championship strugglers. Queen's Park Rangers were the only winners and so put further space between themselves and the bottom three. In League One, Cheltenham eased their relegation worries, and in some style. Alfie May's brace against Peterborough included this stunning volley from the halfway line. Cheltenham won it 3-0. Elsewhere in League One, title contenders Plymouth came badly unstuck at informed Barnsley. There were no such problems for Sheffield Wednesday, though. They extended their unbeaten run to 22 games with victory at Portsmouth. 3 points clear with 2 games in hand. Things look rosy for the Owls. Ipswich won at Bolton, collecting a 6th consecutive clean sheet into the bargain. Derby won at Oxford. That result sees Oxford slip even closer to the relegation zone. Burton climb above them thanks to a surprise win at Wycombe. MK Dons beat fellow strugglers Cambridge. In League Two, Carlisle's promotion hopes were bolstered by a win at Swindon. The Cumbrians scored a brilliant opener through Jack Armour and a dramatic stoppage time winner from Ryan Edmondson. Stevenage rediscovered their form with a comfortable win over Walsall. Playoff rivals Northampton, though, dropped points with a draw against struggling Hartlepool. Leyton Orient's game at Mansfield was a victim of the weather. Even without a game, the O's position at the top looks very secure. The race for the other automatic promotion places is a lot closer. Stevenage, having played a game fewer than most, have a significant advantage. Hartlepool's draw was a valuable one. It keeps them just above the bottom two. Crawley beat Harrogate 3-1, dropping the Sulphurites into even deeper trouble. Those are the latest developments in the EFL, where 8 different players hit doubles this weekend. And there'll be more of the same next week, I'm sure. Until then, from me, Dan Mason, and the rest of the team, it's goodbye.